Anywho, if you're wondering what my favorite Pokemon game is, that would be Pokemon Legends Arceus. It is considered a spin-off game, sort of, but it is still integral to the main series. That one is my absolute favorite out of all the Pokemon games that exist currently. I am definitely looking forward to playing Pokemon Winds and Waves when those games eventually release in 2027. But, of course, I will be... Am I going to pre-order the game? Maybe. I most certainly will try to. Of course, pre-orders are not up right now as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that... I'm pretty sure that the pre-orders are not available yet. But when they do go live, depending on how much money I have and depending on the financial situation that I'm in, I might pre-order the game. Or at least one of them. Yeah, they are... The Pokemon games, at least the more modern ones, are only available on the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. I know they recently re-released Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. And, that also was recently re-released on the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. Might as well get some suck cannon ammo. Why? Because, well, it's not that the weapon sucks, no pun intended. But it is another weapon that I could try to use. Try to get some additional EXP. But when it comes to getting a Switch, I would recommend saving up your money and getting a Nintendo Switch 2 instead. Just saying, it is a bit of a hefty investment at roughly $450 to $500, but honestly, I think it's the best bang for your buck when it comes to overall value of the big three when it comes to consoles right now. Although, if you do plan on getting a Nintendo Switch or Switch 2, I would recommend getting it now, because if you don't, oh dear, the price is most definitely going to go up within the next few months.
Captain Quark, first you made another miraculous comeback. Now you've defeated the Tyhrranoids in a spectacular battle on their own planet. How do you explain your recent success?
Courage, compassion, dashing good looks, iron hard abs! Seriously, though, to be a true hero of heroes, you need more than loads of charisma and a brilliant tactical mind. I couldn't have done it without these massive guns! Mwah! Mwah!
It's like, really, dude? Come on!
Glad to see you made it through in one piece, Ratchet. You must have quite a story to tell. Why don't you come back to the Phoenix and fill us in?
Sounds good, but we're gonna put a pin on that for a little bit. To answer your question, no. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, they've only been officially re-released on the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. They are not coming to PC anytime soon, if ever. And the reason why? Well, it's pretty simple. Nintendo only allows Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles. They tried it once with Philips and the Philips CDI back in the 90s. And let me tell you, it didn't work out very well for them because they released some of the most infamous games in the history of gaming, with like Hotel Mario, Link the Faces of Evil, Zelda the Wand of Gamelon, and Zelda's Adventure. Those were the only Nintendo games that were ever released on a non-Nintendo console. And no, I'm not talking about the mobile games that are out right now. Those are the exception. I'm talking like home console releases. So, yeah, it is what it is. Anywho, I know that in order to progress, you can just return to your ship, and then return to the Starship Phoenix that way. But I kind of want to take on these extra battle missions, because A, you can get some additional bolts, B, there is a trophy tied to completing every single one across the galaxy, and C, the reward is worth it. Trust me. Let's see. On to part 1. Let's do this. Dan told you he will help you with installing games on Steam Deck. You're welcome, anytime. I'm glad that you like the suggestions that I gave. Trust me, like I said, the Switch 2 is a hefty investment, but it's most definitely worth it. Alright, here we go. Let's do this! And you gotta love doing it in slow motion, like what? Again, I think that's more of an issue with the game on the PS3, because this slowdown did not exist in the original PlayStation 2 release. It's only a thing in the PS3. Why? I don't know. I think it's just having a hard time loading in the assets and the map in general, so the game has to slow down in order to load in everything, because what is an emulator? Well, an emulator is a piece of software that allows you to play older games while it mimics older hardware. There are many different forms of emulators out there. There's one for like the Nintendo Entertainment System, there's one for the Nintendo 64, there's also one for the Game Boy Advance, one for the PlayStation 2, there's even one for the PlayStation 3, and there's also one in development for the PlayStation 4, believe it or not. And as far as I know, there's no emulation capabilities for the current gen consoles at this point in time, that being PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles. But really, why would you emulate an Xbox Series console right now? You can play most of those games on PC, because apparently, according to Microsoft, everything is an Xbox. Although they are starting to sunset that campaign, because, well, it was a very, very dumb campaign. It was like they were trying to be like a discount Sega. Remember Sega back in the day? For those who don't know, Sega wasn't a third-party, they weren't originally a third-party company. Instead, they released their own series of consoles alongside the Nintendo Entertainment System, known as the Sega Genesis here in the States. Also known as the Sega Mega Drive in the United Kingdom and European regions. Might as well try to utilize iframes. That was rather rough, to say the least. But the fun is only just beginning.
This place is crawling with guards.
No kidding, like holy moly. They're practically everywhere. They're like cockroaches.
There's the hover ship. We need to push the Noids back and secure the area.
That we do. But we also gotta fight the slowdown that appears to be happening all over the frickin' place. By the way, the optional missions that are not required for story progression, they tend to be harder than the standard missions. Why? Well, because they are optional and they lead to additional rewards. They are a harder challenge, I'll tell you that much right now, but they are well worth the blood, sweat, and tears. Trust me. There you go, sit down, son. And that should be about mission complete right here. At least it should be, but it's not over yet. It's only over once the screen says mission accomplished. And even if you happen to perish after the screen pops up, so long as it popped up earlier, you can move on. Move on to the next mission. Bada bing, bada boom! Next mission. Oh dear, bad timing, bad timing! Ow. Okay. This, everything dies. I'm just gonna try blasting some pools from a distance, if I possibly can. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up maxing this weapon out first. All my weapons up my current arsenal. No pun intended, just saying. You know, it would be really nice if I could acquire the sniper rifle here, but unfortunately I do not have the bolts for it right now. And I think that thing is 75,000 bolts. It's expensive, like incredibly so. But, you know, I think it's worth it. It's worth the money, for sure. It is a very hefty investment. Now playing Pokemon Legends on Steam Deck thanks to your dad. You're welcome. I hope you enjoy the game. Another game I highly recommend that is also from the Pokemon Legends series is Pokemon Legends ZA. Sure, some people are mixed in terms of opinions because there are a lot of things that people love about the game, and there are also a lot of things that people dislike about the game. And a lot of the things that they dislike mainly comes from the game's DLC. And speaking of the DLC, it is a grind fest. Is it worth the money? That is debatable. It is debatable at best. To me, it was worth it, but many others do not feel the same. But it is a fun little story to go through in terms of the DLC. It's expensive at $30, but still, it is not worth $30. It's worth $10 or $15 at the most, maybe $20, but you're kind of pushing it at that point, at least in my opinion. Again, the DLC is fun, but not worth $30, for sure.
To fly the hover ship, use the left analog stick. Press X or L1 to ascend, square or L2 to descend. Use the right analog stick to aim, and press circle or R1 to fire rockets.
Okay, pretty simple controls all things considered, especially when you're playing in the lock strafe mode, or the lock strafe control scheme. Did that ship just appear? You would think it would have some sort of fade in. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I remember clearly on the PlayStation 2, like way back in the day, that they faded in. Maybe it's because of the PlayStation 3's increased level of detail and extra draw distance. Maybe that's why the ships are just suddenly appearing. Maybe. Then again, maybe it's just another quirk of the PlayStation 3 re-release of Ratchet Clank up your arsenal. Maybe. That's my guess. Funny enough, as far as I know, during this mission specifically, you cannot exit the hover ship. Okay, not too much more to go. Once the drop ships are taken out, then we can start storming the final part of the island. Oh, and another fun fact worth pointing out here is that this game actually had online multiplayer. And it was also restored in the HD remaster as well. But sadly, the servers for the game's multiplayer have gone offline a long time ago. But I think you can still connect to fan-made servers if you happen to know how to change your DNS settings on the PlayStation 3. So it may still be possible to play this game's online multiplayer. I'm just saying. If you are interested in possibly doing that, definitely look up some tutorial videos on how to change DNS settings and make it so you can play this game's online multiplayer again. Because back in the day, back in the PlayStation 2 era, this game also supported online multiplayer with like a broadband adapter. It was one of the few games that actually supported it. So that's pretty cool. If I recall correctly, I think this is another mission which you can't exit out of the hovercraft? No, you can't. I thought so. By the way, if you wanted to know how to exit out of the vehicle, most vehicles can be exited out of easily by pushing the triangle button. However, there are some missions in which you are required to use a certain vehicle in order to, well, do the mission. this being one of them. And as a result of the fact that you cannot exit the vehicle, whatever the health is, no matter how much you have, that's the vehicle's health. And I believe the vehicle has separate health from Ratchet in general, so keep that in mind. Oh, speaking of this game's multiplayer and the extra missions that you can do, many of these extra missions, and really the optional ones in general, they're based on this game's multiplayer maps. So, again, a little fun little tidbit. I guess that's why people don't really like these extra missions very much. Just because it shoehorns in the game's multiplayer maps. Are they necessary? No. Is it fun? Yes, absolutely. And also, you can play multiplayer with a friend, or just play, you can play local multiplayer if you want, too, on the original PlayStation 2. And I think you can even still do that on the PlayStation 3, too.
This thing looks pretty dangerous.
So, that's pretty nice.
Suck it up, 26. You got nothing to worry about. I got special training with electronic thingamajiggies. Okay, here goes.
I love the extra dialogue that you can listen to while you're doing these extra missions. They're really humorous if you think about it.
26 has been vaporized, sir. But the force field has been deactivated. All right. Now Trooper deserves a medal. Complete your mission and report back to base for briefing.
Sweet. Mission accomplished. A good day's work. On to the final battle. Let's do this.
Just about finished.
Alright. I'm gonna crank out the lava gun.
This one's gonna be a cakewalk.
Yeah. This is not gonna be a cakewalk at all, buddy. Not even close. I'm just saying.
Like I said, these boys don't have the bone. This that much.
Okay, gotta select the right weapon, release triangle, and not die.
Reinforcements by air.
By the way, if you're wondering how many mini turrets you can have up at once, I believe the maximum is 3. They only last for a short period of time, but the higher weapon levels will not only increase their overall duration, but they'll also allow you to put up a few more turrets. I think up to a maximum of 5 at the maximum level, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, but even so, you can put up a lot of turrets. We're fairly decent. Does this game also have guns like Power World? Well, I did say that we're blasting fools upside the head, so it goes to show that, yeah, this game does have guns. You go pew-pew. Everything goes pew-pew, and things go boom. And hopefully we don't end up biting the dust. Okay, come on. Fire at me, buddy. Thank you. That took a lot more effort than it should have. But it is what it is. Okay. When it comes to these extra battle missions, one thing to keep in mind is that checkpoints are very scarce. In other words, they're non-existent. If you happen to die during these missions, well then, unfortunately, that means you will have to redo the mission again, from the very beginning. And some of these missions can be really, really damn long. So, hope you're prepared to sit back for a while, because, oh boy, you're not going to have a whole lot of fun when it comes to redoing these missions repeatedly. And when you're dealing with a whole bunch of enemies at once, the game does tend to slow down quite a bit. In other words, the frame rate tanks, but thankfully the game slows down to compensate, like you're in an action movie. That is one nice thing about older games such as these, is that even if you do drop in frame rate, it doesn't affect the overall gameplay all that much. It just makes it that much more cinematic looking. Sure, the slowdowns still stink, and they are a bit of a time loss depending on the situation, what you're looking to do, but even so, it's still something extra. It's just a bit of extra nostalgia juice, you know? It's nice. Is it cinematic? Yes. Is it something that you want? No. No, not at all. But it still looks cool.
Move in and wipe 'em out.
Sure, sounds good. Just gotta be sure to select the right weapon, though. Okay, only one of these left to go. Now we're in the home stretch. Don't have too much more left to go when it comes to this thing. It will take a little bit of firepower, but you know what? It's damn well worth it. So at this point now, our final objective is within reach, and all we have to do is just take out both of these ball turrets, and bada bing, bada boom! Mission accomplished! Of course, these things will not go down very easily. And the enemy forces are not exactly gonna wait around and allow you to destroy the base all that easily. Okay, I was wrong. Apparently there's still a little bit more to this mission than meets the eye. Oh, it is what it is. Guess you gotta annihilate all forces as well as the big balls of fire and death.
Mission accomplished. We are now in complete control of Cabo Island.
Awesome! Mission complete! And you can choose to replay the missions again for additional bolts if you so wish. But for me, I think I'm good. Can you believe we've been going on for nearly 4.5 hours now? Holy moly. And I think now it's a good time as any to return to the Starship Phoenix. Might as well receive our next objective and figure out where we need to go to next. And like I said, unfortunately we can't really do any sort of cleanup on this planet yet. Not until later. Not until we are able to acquire absolutely everything that we need to in order to fully explore this place. And here's the sniper rifle. Cool. The Flux Rifle is an excellent weapon for sniping. To enter sniper mode, equip the weapon, press L2. Use the left analog stick to zoom in and out, and the right analog stick to aim. This thing does a lot of damage, and it's basically a quickscoper's wet dream. In other words, this thing deals a lot of damage down range. Speaking of range, the range of this thing is absolutely massive. Although, one thing to keep in mind though is that this thing does not have aim assist. Which, that makes sense. Okay, I know about that already. Okay, I think we're good here. Do I, Okay. I've already read that comment. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. Let's return to the Starship Phoenix now. Oh, my back. Well, technically I have been going on for roughly 4.5 hours, so this is to be expected. As far as when I'm going to end today's session, I'm looking to stream at least 5 hours. So, let's see how far we can get within that time period. In other words, within the next half an hour.
It was the biggest Tyhrranoid you've ever seen. Big as a star cruiser and packing twice as much firepower. There was no escape. He was coming right at me. Closer, closer. Oh, what am I gonna do, right? Closer, even closer. Click, click. My blaster jammed.
No way! What happened next?
Yes, go on. We're all riveted.
So, this is the mighty Q-Force I've heard so much about. Pathetic! I could obliterate the lot of you, and they wouldn't even mention it in Supervillain Weekly.
True, sir, but you'll have done the fashion world an enormous service.
And as for you, Agent Clank, I have far grander plans for you. All right, Lawrence, you can turn it off now.
Oh, may I, sir? What a treat.
Al, come in!
Yellow.
Someone just transmitted a hologram onto the ship. I need to know where the signal came from.
Let's see. Backtracing the signal. Six-path alpha key encryption? Amateurs. I got it. It came from a facility on planet Dax. Accessing their computer files.
Planet Dax?
Aha! I found something suspicious. Patching it through now.
Ooh, let's take a look.
Tonight, we take a journey inside the enigmatic mind of our galaxy's foremost evil genius, Dr. Nefarious. We'll take a tour of this secret facility on planet Dax, home to some of the galaxy's most insidious superweapons, including the dreaded Rainbow Afrolyzer. Dr. Nefarious, we've all enjoyed your past work, but how do you respond to critics who say your latest galactic schemes are just more of the same?
I will annihilate them!
Lawrence, tell us a bit about this top-secret superweapon being constructed on planet Dax.
Well, super is such a strong word. For that matter, weapon may be a tad overdoing it. We do, however, have a lovely view of the ocean at sunset.
Is Dr. Nefarious poised on the brink of galactic domination, or is this super weapon just the latest in a series of maniacal pipe dreams? Stay tuned for more from Supervillain Weekly.
Sounds awesome. I should
Whatever
subscribe.
Nefarious is doing on Dax, it can't be good.
We'll check it out.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Al. Much appreciated. The same, buddy. We love and appreciate you all day, every day.